Make sure my volume is good.
All right, we're on.
We are live. We are live. Yay! 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 This is your sister Roo. Hey, everybody! Thank you for joining us for another episode of UnRead. I'm Roo. That's Nick. We are here with you, and we have a special guest, y'all. I'm so excited. I got my words all jumbled. I feel like a kid that's getting ready to meet their superhero. You know what I'm saying? So let me let you know, I am just honored to be here today, y'all, on UnRead. Thank y'all so much for joining us every 2 weeks as we bring you unread books, reread books, recommendations, and yes, beautiful, talented authors from our community. So, sister, welcome, welcome, welcome. Now I'm gonna let you guys get to meet her because I'm gonna let Nick, since he is a good friend of hers, give her a nice intro, better than I could do, y'all. And it's because I'm starstruck right now. So I'm gonna let Nick introduce her. But thank y'all. This is UnRead on Saturday, the 14th. We are here with a beautiful sister. So an addition to our community. Nick, please share how you've been this week and introduce our lovely guest.
Well, before I do all of that, I have to, and we mentioned it in our last episode, this would be our first year anniversary episode too, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it is. Yes, we did our first episode. I believe the date was December 17th or December 18th, something like that. So this, a year ago. Yeah, so we've been here a year. So this is
beautiful.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
The anniversary.
Perfect way to celebrate and bring it in to celebrate.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, so I met this sister some time ago.
A while ago.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we met when you vended for our event when we had the RBG ball back in, goodness, maybe what was that, 2016, something like that?
Yeah, that's about right, 2016.
Yeah, I think that's how we crossed paths. You reached out to us at the time. I was a member of the social and political organization called the New African Liberty Organization, NALO, and each year we had our annual RBG ball. We had vendors, performers, culture, all of that, all the great things. And yeah, the sister here on the screen reached out to us. I believe, what was your business? You had the clothing, right?
Yes, melanated masses, and it was t-shirts.
Masses. Yep,
affirmations on positive affirmations on shirts. Yep.
Yes, that's what it was. Beautiful brand. And we just stayed in contact, stayed connected, all these years, on social media.
Right.
Why,
each other.
Yep. You watching what I'm doing, I'm watching what you're doing. And then when you came out with the book, what year did this did you publish?
The book was launched December 18th of 2021.
2021. So yeah, fast track from 2016 all the way to 2021. I saw the sister drop the book. I don't have children myself, but I had young godchildren at the time. So I said this would be perfect, for my goddaughter. She's about, around this age, at this reading level at that time. Now she's 11 years old now. She just turned 11 at the end of November, at the end of last month. So she's reading big chapter books now.
Check her out. Go, mama.
Yep. So I got the book for her, and let me tell you, Sister Seshat, she's a class act. I ordered the book off her website, and I think you had to back up on the order. You had to get more printed, I think was the situation at the time.
Right.
So there was a bit of a delay on getting the book shipped out. And as a courtesy, she not only shipped the book out, to Georgia, where my goddaughter is, she sent me 2 copies of the book as well, autographed both of them, and we're going to talk about the book momentarily. This is just a part of the introduction, the extended, elongated introduction, but definitely, definitely much deserved. So you can tell that this is a beautiful sister with a beautiful spirit. And, I'm just glad that we stayed connected through all these years. So with that being said, I introduce to the unread audience, if you're not already familiar, to Sister Seshat Ali, the writer of The Adventures of Patty B. Everything's Fine, We're on Divine Time.
Right. That's my girl right there.
Yes. Welcome to the program. Welcome to UnRead Book Reviews.
Wow. Wow. So my heart is so full, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunity for you allowing me to come on your platform and build about my vision and build about the brand in itself, the Adventures of Patty B brand, because it is a book series. And what better way to build on this venture than a great platform like you have. And I just want to say salute to you and Sister Ro as well for all that you do and enlighten individuals on different books and motivating people in this day and time of the hustle and bustle of just trying to do everything from the day-to-day, handle business, being exhausted, but still motivating people and inspiring people to get back into reading. And I think it's very important in this day and time that we living in to kind of give ourselves that type of grace with just being in tune with ourselves and diving into literature. And I think that that's important. So salute to the both of you being diligent in your quest on a monthly basis and doing what you do for the public and the people. So salute to you too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I love that story. And I happen to have something here. Now here's the thing, right? You guys that have been with us for this year and who have followed Mawulisatemple over the years know I am a huge child when it comes to a lot of things. I am very excitable and I love books. And especially love books that celebrate us and celebrate our community and give an opportunity for us to be able to learn together, grow together, heal together, and our children are a huge part of that. As a mom and a grandmom, I am always so excited to see young people reading, because that was something that my mother instilled and shared with us as youth. As a matter of fact, every Saturday we went to the library. Any folks that still may have worked at Irvington Library and North Libraries, you saw my mother strolling all of us in and strolling all of us out. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say, for those reasons, I'm excited. But, when I got the envelope, I was like, if I open this envelope, I am going to read this book right now. And I know I am, because first of all, I was like, it's a children's book. It's people in it that look like us. Oh my God, I'm going to go through and see what she do, because it's divine time. So I want to now open my book and say, I have my official The Adventures of Patty B. Everything's fine. We're on divine time. And oh, this classy. This is too adorable. I tell you, I love this. I love this. Oh, it feels so good. Oh. Before we see what happened as soon as I opened it, right? So I'm keeping it real with y'all. But I want to, before we get too far and I get too ahead of myself, I'm going to give it back to Nick, because I think we want to hear a little bit about how The Adventures of Patty B came to be. Right. So yeah. Were you privy to that, Nick, or did you just find out like the rest of us?
I was not privy to that. It just came by surprise. And I'll also say this. I didn't say this in the introduction, but we on Unread, we discuss a variety of books and a variety of genres. I know Rue mentioned that, she brings a lot of, the spiritual books to the table, but you saw we discussed fiction. We've had how-to guides. We had an HVAC guide, Joseph Johnson, on in
Wow.
earlier episodes. So we cover a wide variety of books and genres, and this is our first episode discussing a children's book. So I just wanted to mention that as well. But yes, let's get right into this conversation about this, I guess, the entire process, how this came about.
Right.
Yeah, and the inspiration, the process.
Right.
We're going to talk about the content as well as the publishing aspect of it, because this is a
Right.
show for both readers and writers and publishers as well. So
Right.
go ahead,
Okay.
Sister Seshat, why don't you, take us back to the beginning and tell us about how all
Yeah.
this got started.
Right. So, me being a creative being, right? And a Gemini. So one of the things is I can have a million and different things going on in my head. But while I have these million and one things, I'm always outlining things. But this book and this title, Everything's Fine, We're on Divine Time, right? So divine time is a concept and a phrase that a lot of people in my village, and pretty sure your village, will speak on when to keep us leveled and understand that whatever is going to be, going to be. But as a little girl, my mother used to always say to me and my brother as we would grow older, so we won't get frustrated when things don't happen our way, when things don't happen when we want them to happen. She used to always say that what's for you is for you. So it made us realize, talking about me and my brother, that never be jealous of anyone. Be happy for people when they get their accolades, when they get their flowers. You understand? But also, when it's time for you to receive the things that you're setting out to do, it's going to happen when it's time for them to happen. Unexpectedly, but it's divinely yours. And that in itself was divine time. But at that time, as a kid, I didn't know that that was divine time. But as I went on through life, I realized that a lot of my mother's life lessons were things that I was coming into terminology wise, right? So let's push back to 2017. So when Nick mentioned the melanated masses and the t-shirts, so the business went from the t-shirts to master lecturers, right? Hosting master lecture teachers, bringing them into the community. And in 2017, I had this vision and I was like, I want to bring Queen Afua to New Brunswick. She's never been to New Brunswick. We got to go to Harlem and Brooklyn. And at this time, this is 2017. So I reached out, me being a novice with a lot of things and just moving off faith. And the one person I used to always tell all my ideals in anything before I put any action to them was my Omi, was my mother. And I was like, Mom, you know what? I want to have a lecture series and I'm thinking about Queen Afua. And at that time, my mom didn't know who she was. But then I started showing my mom things, showing her different YouTube videos and things of that sort. And I just put the pedal to the metal and I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to make this happen. So I reached out to Queen. She was very, very warming and welcomed from beginning to end from the process. So fast forward, I bring her into the community. She comes, she does this amazing lecture. We're all just blown away just to be in awe with just her energy, right? And at the very, very end of the event, she calls me up and she gifts me a Sacred Woman program tuition. Like she said, you know what, I want you to I'm going to gift you this. And I didn't have to pay. And I end up going through becoming an initiate and becoming a sacred woman, right? And we went through her 12 gateways, right? So I say all this to say, one of the first things she said was that you're going to heal yourself. You're going to learn how to heal yourself. You're going to heal your family, and then you're going to heal your community, right? And then she used to always say that now that you started this process, you've now taken on the responsibility, and the universe will bring certain things your way and certain situations your way to reinforce what you've already committed to with being a sacred woman. Fast forward, this was 2017, right? So December of 2017, I finished, got my certification. September of 2018, my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, right? So my mother is Patricia Brockington, but we always call her Patty B, right? So what ended up happening was I was nervous, but we were all shocked. We couldn't believe it because, anybody that get any kind of diagnosis or anything like that, you don't believe it at first. It's like, no, this can't be, So life was happening and life was moving fast. So my mom said, you know what? I don't want to do chemo. I want to take the natural route. And the strength, this woman that I've always known to be so strong, all these from childhood all the way up to adulthood, right? I saw a different level of strength from my mother. So when 2018 came, we got the diagnosis, we went head on, natural herbs, everything natural, worked with a biochemist versus doctors in the beginning to change my mother's cellular levels. I don't want to go too far out, but I'm just I'm gonna bring it all in. So during that time, I just kept hearing the challenges. Remember saying, like, when you take this on, these will be the challenges that you'll be faced with. But when I say, I felt like if I had not went through that program, the 6 or 7 months, I would have been lost and really not know how to navigate or how to heal my mother, right? Now, we did the natural route. So when I say I'm like in the kitchen like a chemist, like when you take a natural route, you're literally like this your laboratory, right? So you're in there, you're juicing, you're dropping, you're doing minerals, you're doing all these things, like right, this to save someone you love. So things looked good. Then it just turned in a way where we didn't want it to go. But to the very, very end of the process, it was like there was this strength of a duty that had to be done and loyalty that had to be upheld. Okay. So February of 2019 comes and we got another diagnosis that we didn't feel like this really, we still couldn't believe this is happening. However, when the doctors come and they say, you know what, there's nothing else that we can do. No worries. Give me my mom. Let me bring my mother home. So I took my mother home because growing up, like in this part of the South and growing up in the North, if you have an ability, I was always taught, if you had ability to let your mother or your father or your loved one go inside their home, that's what you do. Bring my mom home. I cared on her, loved on her. She was really swole from, all the medicine they put on you. And this is a true story now. And my brother was like, couldn't believe it, but she was all swollen and everything. And there was this clay that I had left from Queen Afua that she makes. It's a healing clay. And I put it at the bottom of my mother's feet overnight. Couldn't see. My mother was a very petite woman. So by her being so swollen and her legs and everything, you couldn't see her kneecap or her ankles. But the next morning, all the swelling went down because that was the purpose of the clay, to pull the toxins out the body. So I say all this to say that even though it was a hospice situation, even though it was a matter of time, we did not stop until the bitter end until it was time for her to physically leave here, right? So having to deal with departing with my mother in the physical in this realm, I had to find my way not to fall into a deep depression or grief. So I did, and I tapped into what I knew best, and that was create, write. I've been writing since I was about 9, poetry, doing spoken word, oratory, and things of that sort. So I tapped back into what I knew. And then I thought about, what can I do to create some product or something that honored my mom, but I still can still have a little piece of her still here in some way, shape, form, or fashion, but also how can I introduce people to this amazing vessel that people that she's never was able to reach. She reached a lot of people in her time here, in her 70 years of this on this planet. She reached a lot of people, but there's so many other people I felt like she got cheated a little bit. Like she had more people to reach. So how can I help her reach more people with her not physically being here? So that was the creation of the Adventures of Patty B. Okay. And so it was very important to me that when I created it, I took my time with it. And it took me, no lie, it took me about 2 years to get the illustrator, the editor alone. It took me 2 years to find the perfect illustrator and the perfect editor. So I say this to anyone that has a project that you're working on. Please be patient with yourself and be patient with the direction that you're going with your project. Because once you copyright this, once you get that ISBN number, once you get that barcode, that's it. That's it. It's out there. And from beginning to end, hold on true to what you want your vision to be. So I say all this to say that even though that was the created it, it was like now I created it in my mind and put these things together. Now you have to put all the hard work into bringing this forward. And it took me 2 years to get the illustrator and the editor because I wanted to make sure whoever was going to create this image of my mother into this animated character, that they knew how important it meant to me. And it was my level of loyalty to my mother that I represent her right, because I could probably hear her now like, Tamara, that's not the one. But, so I had to make sure I did it right. And what I did was I gave the sister a picture of my mother. I talked about my mother to her, the plight of my mom, being a single mom, raising us up. And I told her everything. And so she understood how important this meant to me. And what I could say about this sister, Sister Ibeliz Guadalupe, is the illustrator, and she's absolutely amazing. And at first, and when I tell you, when you tell people this type of story, they're like, I don't want to mess it up. Like I'm nervous. Like that was exactly what it was. It was like, I'm nervous, but I'll go off an energy. And when I speak to certain individuals, I knew when I spoke to her, and when I knew when we was on a Zoom, I was like, that's my illustrator. The editor, when I found my editor, I think I went on like freelance.com and I found her, but I went through all these different editors. But it was one sister, and she was from Jersey, but she moved to France, right? And I was like, that's my editor. I claimed and affirmed the illustrator and the editor from the door. Like soon as I saw them, soon as I spoke to them, I knew then. I just knew. And I gave the manuscript to the editor. She was very honest. We tweaked a lot of things, and anybody know with editing, you're going to have to tweak, and a lot of people said, oh, it's a children's book. Why do you need an editor? Yes, I do. Yes, you do. And I had a elder who self-published her books as well. And one of the things she said, I'm not taking no book serious that ain't have an editor. when I open up that title page. And I like being around those type of people that's going to give it to me straight. And that's what she said. I said, I thought so. And I said, but I have one. And she said, don't you ever let anyone have you write a book and you don't get it properly edited by a professional editor. No one's going to take your product serious. No one's going to take your book seriously without seeing that it's been edited and an editor in there. So that's for anybody that's writing a book, okay? So then we did the drafts. And when she first sent me the Patty B draft, you all, I cried. Because it's something when you put it together. So I told her everything I want. We did character description sheets for every character that you're going to see in the book. I mean, down to her white dress. You probably can't see it, but the Adinkra prints that's on her dress, okay? Those are Adinkra prints, and you'll see in the book about the Adinkra symbols. I'll get into those symbols in a little bit as well. But also her crystal that she wears around her neck, okay? That is a unakite jasper. That is the crystal my mother wore when she was battling cancer. So I thought that was very important to have that unakite jasper there. And I wanted to jazz her up a little bit. So back in the 60s, my mom used to wear these fly cat eye glasses because she wore glasses. And I wanted to bring the cat eye look back, but for our little kids, because we have a lot of beautiful little girls and handsome little boys that gotta wear glasses, and they feel like, well, I don't want to wear my glasses. We wanted to be cool that they gotta wear glasses. You know what I mean? So we wanted to jazz up her glasses, and I told her I want some gold specks in her glasses. When I say that the illustrator did not miss a beat when I gave the character description, and I sent her a picture of my mom. So on the dedication page is a picture of my mom, and this is the picture that she went with. And I always told her, I said, my mom had this such infectious smile. It needed to be captured when you, when you think of drawing her. I was like, I really need the intention on her smile. And she captured, if you look at the front, she really captured the infectious smile. The twist out, I said, my mom had a beautiful, twist out. And I just really wanted to make sure I captured that. And she did. She executed every piece of character that's in the book. So if you go to like the title page where you'll see all the characters here, each character means something or has an attribute that is, I think, holds some type of power for even the books to come, okay? So you have, every kid has their best friend, right? Every kid has their best friend. So Nori, see the little fella there? He is her rock. He is like her best friend. And Nori, as you see, has these special, beautiful markings on his face. And what I wanted to do was, I noticed that there was a lot of our melanated babies, our Black and brown babies being born with a skin condition called mellocentric nevus, which is the skin condition where you have various molds or colorations on the body. It could be on the face, the back, the neck. I had a little cousin who had like the green markings all on his back, though. It was all on his back. And back in the day, you have your elders, they'd be like, oh yeah, that's the collard green. They make anything. That's the collard green skin, and because it was the green markings. But this, I wanted to shed light on the babies that have the various molds on their face, their arms, their necks. And then you have Mr. Mac. Mr. Mac is the elder in the book that we always have, that elder in the community that's going to give us those gems, that's going to give us those jewels. I named this character after my great uncle, which was my mom's uncle, who was more like her father figure for her. And my Uncle Mac passed away when I was about 2 years old. 2 weeks old. I'm so sorry, 2 weeks old in 1980. And I wanted to, and he didn't have any children, but he was such a magnificent father figure for my mom. And I wanted to honor him. And he also was one of New Jersey's Hall of Fame for softball back in the day, right? So I wanted to still honor my uncle. And so I named this character Mr. Mac. A lot of people, they see it, they be like, he looks like Dr. Sebi, but he's basically a replication of my great uncle. And then the mom, Mrs. B, is so basically I got her image from one of my old pictures when I had locks. And I had really, like, my locks were like really long, like to like almost like to my knee. And I took a picture, and because all I wanted was all natural hair. I wanted everybody chocolate. I wanted locks. I wanted natural curls. I wanted, that nice gray beards. All I saw, and that's what I wanted. So we used the image of the mom based off of an old picture of me when I had my locks. And she executed that absolutely well, down to everything that you're going to see in the book, far as the clothes, what they're wearing, the mules. If you go to the first page, you'll see mom with her adornment on of her crystal, right? And if you see, and the elders, when they wear theirs, it's like they're revered. So their neck pieces they've done something to wear this. They're committed themselves to the community. They have added on such a great deal that when you see their neck piece, it's their level of adornment, but it's exaggerated, but it's rightfully theirs to exaggerate, right? They have a grand piece on. So mom's neck piece is an amethyst, right? And that was my mother's actual birthstone, was an amethyst, right? So I wanted to make sure I honored that as well. If you see Patty B running, Patty B, that's her medicine bag, right? That's her medicine bag. So it doesn't have a strap or anything like that. That is her medicine bag. Now, book number 2 will highlight more. That medicine bag comes into place in book number 2 that's going to be released next year in 2025. But this Divine Time book is leading up to something. It's a whole bunch of symbols throughout the whole entire book, every page. When you go to the next page, you'll see Patty B running, right? Now, this is the page where we wanted to show the crystals in motion. So if you notice, now Nori has a clear quartz on. He has a clear quartz, right? That's balance, because he's balanced Patty B out. He's a universal being, right? So we wanted to make sure that when I did this book, that not only when I do the readings for the babies, that we're able to have an open line of discussion about crystals, and even Nori's skin condition, because it's a very good topic when you're teaching in schools, or you're reading. When I go to schools and I read, more so about how everyone is born uniquely themselves. So no one is laughed at or pointed at or makes somebody feel like they're different. Everyone is uniquely born. We have our own eyes, our nose, our way of thinking, things of that sort. And that's very clear. So when you go to the next page, so they're rushing, they're trying to get to this theater, right? They're trying to get to this theater. So in the very, very beginning, Patty B's running out, but her mom was telling her, you know what, take your time and slow down. Like, you got to slow down a little bit. Like all parents tell their kids, right? Because we were rushing with little kids, be rushing, shoes on the wrong feet. You know what I mean? They're just trying to get out the house, right? So, clothes all twisted, but, mom tells her, take her time. So even when she get with her friends, she's strong-headed, strong-minded, but that's her road dog. She rock, he rolling. So she running, he run. You know what I mean? But he's like, why you always rushing? Why you always in a hurry? But they're rushing to get to the show, right? So you ever been a kid and you went to the Y, or you had things in the community you was able to just go with your friends, ride your bike and go to? So I wanted to get back to the essence of that. Like they're big enough to go out and venture out onto themselves within the community, right? So they were going to this show, and the big marquee it says my yacht and friends. So again, I wanted that to be a topic piece. And there's a lot of little girls running around. Their name is my yacht too. Sometimes when you read, they like, that's my name, and they can relate to some of the character names in the book as well. But I wanted my yacht to be in there as well. So that could be another topic piece to educate the babies on who is my yacht and talk about the balance and justice and equality of my yacht and what my yacht purpose is, right? So then when they get into the theater, it just so happens that they got to the theater, even though they were rushing, there was 2 seats left in the theater and they were in the front row, right? And then in the seats, if you really look at them, the seats are numbered. You know how when you go to the theater and the seats are actually numbered? These seats are actually numbered, right? There's 6 and there's 7, right? So it was perfect because I also wanted to shed light on supreme mathematics by having the number 6 and 7 for equality and for 7 for God, right? So that's, so it kind of made sense. So I wanted to shine light on that. But if you look on the next page, Patty B gets to go on stage and perform and dance with the cast. I wanted dancing in there because my mom was such an amazing dancer. My mom could dance her behind off, okay? That was a little dancing woman. So I wanted to put that in there to show, again, something that was my mom's personality. And as you move on, the show is amazing. You know how it is after you got finished hanging out with your friends, you doing the recap, like, oh my God, that was so fly, that was so dope. So they're walking back and they're like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you got on the stage. Your friends hype you up, So as they're walking from the show and you can see the backdrop of the theater, and then you see the silhouette of our coming up elder, which is Mr. Mack. So they notice Mr. Mack, and then they get to Mr. Mack. Mr. Mack has a stand. You remember growing up, you always had that elder in the community that was selling something, but he was just amazing. He did so many things in the community. So Mr. Mack, this is one of the contributions that you're going to see about Mr. Mack. But he has this fresh pressed juice and sorbet cart, right? And if you look at the banner on the cart, it is the Adinkra symbols that are along Patty B's dress, right? So when they get to Mr. Mack, they put in their order, they tell him what they want, but he kind of knows them. So he was like, I already know you want pineapple and mango, or, like he knows their flavors, he knows what they like. And then they were building and talking with Mr. Mack, and Mr. Mack then tells them he says the word divine time. They was like, oh, we just came from the theater and we just like, and then here you are, like, you know what I mean? And he was like, oh, you could thank divine time for that. So like most kids, what do they say when they hear a term that they've never heard before, but they're inquisitive? So they're going to ask you, what's that? So they like, what's divine time? And so he tells them. He was like, some way, somehow our needs are unexpectedly met. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just divinely ours. It's our perfect timing. So like most kids, when they hear something, they want to make sure they heard it right. So they're going to paraphrase it back. So on the next page, you hear Patty B says, well, my mom always says that everything is in perfect timing. What's for you will be for you. And literally my mother used to say that to me and my brother when we was kids. Like, what's for you is for you. So I wanted to make sure I put that in the book. But then Patty B also says, like I was rushing to get to the show and my mom was telling me to slow down, but I got to the show and we got 2 seats in the front row and I was able to dance on the stage, and she was like, that's divine time, right? And he like, yes. So then Nori goes and says, the other day I forgot my science book, but, luckily Patty B had her science book, even though she didn't have science class. He was like, that's divine time, right? So I just wanted to show how when we say something to kids, how much they listen to us. So it's important, some of the things and conversations and some of the terminology that you use, if you use it in a sense where it's going to grow into their understanding and it can run with it and keep running with it, that is the real trend. That's how you set trends with trendy words, with stuff like that, right? So they understood it and they loved it. And even when I read this book in schools, like, they love it. They like, I'm going, you know how kids is, I'm gonna start saying that now. Divine time. You know how kids is, when they like something, they want to let you know they like it. If they don't like it, they're gonna let you know they don't like it either. That's why you gotta love kids, because they're honest. And so one thing that Mr. Max says to them is that, divine time is always looking out for us. So we need to cherish it, meaning we need to cherish time. We need to cherish the things that we ask for and our intentions and the things that we are willing to ourselves. You got to be careful of the power of your tongue and things that you will to yourself. So he says goodbye to them. But if you notice, when he says goodbye to them, there's more of an emphasis on his wrist, which is his crystals, his bracelets, which is the black onyx and the tiger's eye, right? So we want to make sure that through every page, something is symbolic, something means something. So even on the very last page, when they're giving each other a high five and they tell themselves, from now on, we're going to take our time and we're going to slow down. But most importantly, we're going to cherish the gift of divine time. And they make a pact that that's what they're going to do moving forward. And then, like most kids, when they get a term that they like, they make a song out of it. They start, so they start singing it and stuff like that. And then what I wanted to do with this book is that I wanted to, I didn't want it to end, right? I wanted to still offer something outside of the story. So then that's why we put but wait, there's more, right? So then, by me being a poet, I wanted to offer poetry based on the theme of the book. So it's a nice little small poem that's kind of small so people can remember it, but it's about divine time, right? And the next thing you'll see is the breakdown of the Adinkra symbols that you're going to see throughout the whole book, right? Courage, bravery, endurance. And these are the symbols I thought that spoke well of the strength that my mom exuded as she was battling her plight with her diagnosis and with the cancer. And I felt like she was brave beyond her years. I felt like she showed so much courage throughout the whole process. Because even though, somebody that has a heart of gold, even though you may be going through, what you're going through, and that was a huge fight to have, but she still showed so much courage because she still worried about everybody else. Like, she still wanted to make sure such and such is okay. Or, I want to make sure this. Everything was more not about her. So, and then I felt like she showed endurance throughout the whole process. And the very last one is the heart with the armor, for by God's grace, all will be well. And that last piece is what kept her going, because she always would recite Psalms 23 throughout her whole battle, right? So she knew that she exuded what God was. She believed in God, but she exuded and represented the God that was within her, and gave herself enough grace. And she kept telling herself, and we kept saying, all is going to be well. So these symbols are there. They look nice, but they also have a more deeper meaning. Okay. If you turn the next page, it was the breakdown of the crystals. And why I did this is that sometimes when you go into picture books, you may not know what something is. So we want to make sure we educate somebody through and through. We want to make sure, because the whole book was to deal with equality, right? You want to see the best for yourself that you want to see for somebody else. So I don't want to gatekeep. I don't want to know something and not share it, or have something in there and not expound on why it's in there. So we wanted to make sure that you can recognize the crystals, why everybody wore the crystals, what are the properties of the crystals. So all the crystals are broke down into the book as well. Yeah. And yeah, so that's the first, this is the first one, you guys. Yeah, this is the first one. Yup. And that's just my bio, letting everyone know who I am and some of the things that I do. And but that is the Adventures of Patty B, the first of the series. And I'm looking forward to, and I'm claiming greatness over the second release, because the goal is to create something that can live on beyond myself, and keep my mother's legacy, name, and her great attributes alive, genuinely. Yeah. So basically, this book came about is to basically, I created my way out of grief. It was hard, but I wanted to create a lane of peace for myself so I can grieve properly. And this really, and I want to say this, I want to take the time. I think everyone all the time, but again, receiving of the book itself, I am always grateful. My heart is always full, because even the day of the book release, the community came out. It was cold in the community. When I say the line, it was at a Black-owned art gallery and above Arts in New Brunswick. And it was, above Arts in New Brunswick. And when I tell you the people came out in the cold, there was a line, okay, to get in. And I was blown away. I was blown away. A lot of my mom's friends that she went to high school with came, that graduated from like 68, 69, 70. Like this, because this was the love my mom had for people, even though she not here. They like, I still want to come out and support, because Pat was my girl, and when you ever tell someone a secret and you say, I'm going to tell you this, and I don't want you to tell anybody. 9 times out of 10, they probably gonna tell somebody, but you still say it, right? But I'm gonna say this. When they say sometimes people leave with people's secrets, I'm gonna say this, and I did say a snippet of this at my mother's homegoing service. If you, this type of person Patty B was, if you went to her and you said, I want to tell you something, and I don't want you to say nothing. My mom did not say anything. My mom left this realm with a lot of people's secrets. That in itself is one line of what loyalty looks like. Because that's rare nowadays. Understand? It's so rare nowadays. And I say this because when individuals, and I'm not saying this because this is my mom, but just her character itself, right? When individuals like this depart in the physical, it makes it very hard to accept what doesn't look like that when it's no longer here. Right? So I want to thank my community for receiving. And when I say my community of people that has took the time to, like yourself, giving me a platform to speak about the book. Anybody that invite me to the school, libraries, anything like that. When I say people who have received it, bookstores that carry it, shout out to Source of Knowledge. Shout out to Willingboro Public Library, because they was the first library to actually carry the book in the library. But all the public libraries that carry the book, and all the parents that allow this book into their children's lives, because as parents, you have to protect what your children are exposed to. But when parents come to me and parents say, I had a hard day and I decided to read the book to the kids, I learned something. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. That's what it's about. What is the takeaway? How can we take away? And even though this is a children's book, I wanted to make sure I have stuff in there that resonated with adults and children, and the babies, But I love going to do the reads with the kids, because the kids are honest. They don't they don't hold back. They do not hold back. They say whatever. look, Nick, you're a teacher, so you already know they don't hold back. They say whatever, you know. So and I be like, oh, because they will tell it in a minute, won't they? But it's honest. It's honest. It's just, they just want to make sure they're telling you their interpretation of what divine time is. You know what I mean? So it's just stuff like that. But yeah, I just want to say I just have to thank everyone that gives me the opportunity to talk about the book, to build on the book, and talk about the main character and the greatness of the main character. But my goal is to just keep on adding on as much as I can add on. And the second book is I can't wait for that to come out next year, because this is adding on, and everything is adding on to what I do, what I've been around, what I've been exposed to, what I worked on, and in addition to the characters and what their attributes are, Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, I was right.
Wow. Okay, so for all those who caught the beginning, and if you didn't, you can go back and take a look. First of all, thank you, sister. And you know what? Welcome, everybody. This is UnRead Book Review with Nick and Roo, and we have the sister Seshat Ali here, and she was talking about the adventures of Patty B. When we first got started, I said I was so excited. I felt like a child waiting to meet their superhero. And if you've listened to this story, now you know why. If you listen to this story, now you know why. As Nick says, sometimes on this platform, I bring the more spiritual kind of information when it comes to our unread books, or the books that we recommend for people to go back and give a reread. And this book, I knew before I even opened it that this was going to be a book that I not only enjoyed, that I would be proud of, that would inspire me, that would make me want to share it. I shared with you right before we started, my granddaughters, they all write. So this is, and we were just talking about making, some different book series together. And Nick knows, I write all the time, and it includes children. And sister, I don't know if you knew or not, but this week was our Human Rights Week. And
Okay.
we talked about food, clothing, shelter, and the other things that go along with that. The right to have help when you are disabled, widowed, sick, old, all of these different things, and what that looks like to give someone their rights when they're in that state. And we also talked about education and our parents' responsibility, and our community's responsibility in shaping and molding our children by giving them information and sharing information that helps them to know who they are, who they were, who they are, and the potential of who they could be, and how all of these things are connected, and how everything is in divine time. So I am just honored that you agreed to come and be on this platform. And let me just say, y'all know how Nick and I do. We don't plan everything. we let things flow, because we believe in divine time. Right. And when we were setting your interview up, we did not realize that Human Rights Week would be what it's been so far. And if anybody followed Human Rights Week this week, listen to this interview today, they would think that it was a part of this week. Am I right, Nick? And today was the community day, where I went out in the community and handed out information. So if I had something like this to take out into the community while we're sharing things, and the other things to come, because sister, this is a great educational tool, and it's a great healing tool. And everybody knows I talk about healing together, healing out loud. And this is what it looks like, y'all. Mm-hmm. This is what it looks like, y'all. And I got a little emotional, because I know this story. I share your story in so many ways, and giving honor to our Omis is something that I don't think I could ever get tired of trying to do. And I see that in your very intentional way of presenting this book so it can move forward, so it can continue to grow and evolve. This is what legacy look like, y'all. This is what legacy look like. For anybody who wanted to know, this is what legacy looks like. It's not $1 million. It's not no gold bars, but it's worth even more. Absolutely. This is legacy, y'all. This is for everyone. Sister, I look forward to being able to share this with my youth and the youth in my community. So I thank you. Nick, I'll give the floor to you.
Yes, I echo all of those sentiments. And yes, it's divine timing, it's synchronicity, alignment, whatever you want to call it. And you mentioned being a Gemini, being a creative. That Gemini is connected to that number 5. That's that literary number right there.
Power number.
Yeah, yep, that power as well. Yep. What comes to mind, going back to the beginning of the story, what I would like to ask you, just going through the process of refining this work and making sure it met your mother's standards. What was the confirmation that, yeah, you got it? Like, this is it right here. What was that confirmation? What did that look like?
You know what? When she first sent me the draft of, after I wrote the character description down, and she said, well, we'll start with the lead. And when she sent me that draft, I knew right then and there. I said, oh, it's go time. It's go time. But then when she read the manuscript and the illustrator read the manuscript, she was blown away. She said, this is such a beautiful story. Like it's straight and simple, but it's a beautiful story, right? The concept about the divine time. But when I first got that first draft of what the star of this whole show would look like, that was my confirmation. Like, oh, ain't no turning back. It's there you go right there. You're going to keep the water running. You're going to keep that water running. And that was my confirmation right there. And another thing that I thought was how everything started to line up from that point on. It was destined, even down to, and I have to say this because I have developed such a great relationship with a lot of people. When I got with who's going to print the book. So a lot of times, and this is a lot of things for any individuals that's trying to do the book, you're going to get so much different feedback from different things when you look up stuff and Google stuff. And one of the other confirmation is that I remember one of my good brothers was working on his, he was doing a coloring book, like with his graphics. And he reached a lot of people when they want to know things. They'll be like, oh, let me contact T because she be knowing stuff. She be having little like loopholes, or she be knowing where to go. And he contacted me and he was like, I'm looking for a book printer. And I was like, at night sometimes before I go to sleep, sometimes I like to research a couple of things or look at things or whatever. Just if I ain't gonna use it right now, I'll just tuck it, screenshot it or whatever. And I remember coming across this Black-owned printing company. And I gave him the information. This was before the book. I gave him the information and then I had lost it. So when I got ready for my book, I was like, I got a printing company. I know I want to use it. And when I contacted my good brother, he gave me the information. He was like, you the one that gave it to me? I was like, I know, but right? But I'm glad I gave it to him, right? So that was another confirmation. But when I got to this book company on the title page, when I had to put them down, a lot of people don't like they'll be like, oh, just print it in the USA or whatever. But I had to put their name in there because this book company is one of the oldest running Black-owned book company in the United States was Black Classic Press. So Black Classic Press, if a lot of people don't know, if you had any of books by a lot of our freedom fighters, they were reprinted by Black Classic Press, Francis Cress Wesling. They do a lot of printing for a lot of universities, but it is the Coates family. And the father used to run the company back in the day in the 70s. This is the company out of Maryland, out of Baltimore, that used to print the Panther papers, the newspaper. And which is, they call it BCP for short, right? And now the kids run it. Brother Damani and his siblings and his children, they do a great job, and they work with a lot of us independent artists and authors, and they have a lot of information for us. And with speaking with this good brother, he aligned for me to meet my book layout person, right, which was William Maxwell. And this is another brother that's from Maryland, Baltimore area. And he goes by WM Graphics. And everything from that point on, from the draft, was all confirmation, because everything started lining up. The printer, the book layout person. So William Maxwell, he did the front cover. He designed the front cover. He designed the back cover, and he did the layout of the book. Okay. So shout out to WM Graphics, William Maxwell, for that. But BCP is an excellent tool in the community, and they've been up and running since the 70s, and it's 2024, about to be 2025. And they're a big deal. Very humble individuals, but they mighty in force and very knowledgeable individuals. And if anybody's not familiar with them, please look them up. They're the Coates family, so what is the brother name? He just did he's doing the script for the new Superman movie, Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah, Coates. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's their cousin. So yeah, it's the Coates family. So they're dope. Just so you know, that family, I'll be tearing his name up. What is it? Ta-Nehisi, right?
Something like that.
I don't like messing up my name, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, we know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but that family's dope. But yeah, this is this family, the BCP, wow. Black Classic Press. So they all won, just so you know. But it was very important that this book embodied everything Black and brown. So the illustrator is our fellow sister from St. Croix. The editor is from the Dominican Republic. And then you got me here from Jersey. But, everything is Black and brown. You know what I mean? At the whole, from beginning to end, editor, illustrator, printing company. And a lot of times I get asked, why did I take the self-published route? I wanted full creative control. I didn't want nothing against going with a publishing company. I didn't want to get talked out of lightening the hue of anybody. I wanted everybody as chocolate as I wanted them to be, because growing up, we did not see these images growing up in books. Now it's so many of these images now, and I think it's a beautiful thing. Everybody has been creating some very beautiful works of art that the babies can resonate with and have representation. So salute to all the authors that's taking their time to make sure that that representation stays alive and keeps growing from now and moving forward. But I had took this self-published route and I also wanted to challenge myself, because I didn't know anything about. I went in blind. I was a novice. I didn't know anything about creating a book and self-publishing a book, but I learned along the way. And then I had a mentor. I call her my gift auntie, which is Carolyn Holland. And she has an amazing book series along herself. But I reached out to her during the process, and she was the one that said, if you don't get an editor, I'm not going to take this book seriously. Like, she give it to you straight. And having that type of energy, that elder energy around you, but want to see you win is very, very important. So these are all the confirmations that I knew that this was going in the right direction before it even hit the press. You know what I mean? So yeah.
That's beautiful. And you answered my question before I even asked that. I was going to ask you about the self-publishing versus finding the publisher.
Right.
So yes, thank
Right.
you for addressing that as well. Go ahead, Roo.
Man, and I appreciate you sharing that process with us as well as the, character creation and everything like that, and really wanted to keep control of, the
Integrity and
the integrity of not just what you wanted to see, but that would carry into the future. The ramifications of some of the things that we don't do now and how it affects us later. I giggled a little bit when you talked about I wanted everybody to be as chocolate as I wanted them to be, because I remember being in school and when they asked you to color, and you had this peach crayon, and no matter how hard you use this peach crayon, it still didn't look like you. And now we have things like hue colored crayons that match every complexion and every shade. And I love in here, you were just so intentional about doing everything. Moles in my family is a big thing. I remember having a cousin get moles removed because they were ashamed of them. So to see something like this, I see how it can help. And also, I just want to commend you for creating legacy, not just for you, but furthering the legacy of others, because by using all of these people that you use, you now help to solidify their name, in history. You know what I mean? This is legacy, y'all. This is what it looks like. This is history being made, in the form of a children's book, because it's so much more.
Absolutely.
It's so much more. And when we get proactive about what's being taught, in our homes and in our communities, in our schools, this is the kind, you can really make change. So again, I just thank you for, giving such an inspiring offering, that was so intentional on so many levels. And I look forward to the adventures of Patty B.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity, and just thank you for really wholeheartedly receiving my offerings, my literary offerings, and the essence and everything that's surrounded around it. If I can, just so people do know, and if I could share, because I always like to make sure people keep a quick outline of if you want to self-publish, just start with an outline, a realistic outline. And that means, like, from the title of the book, what is the purpose of the book? What kind of characters will be in the book? And then get into the business aspect, have a business outline and an actual creative outline of the book. But then your business outline would be three main things. You really want to find out who will be your I'm gonna couple this in. Who will be your illustrator and editor, your book layout person, those three people, right? And then that's all one bullet point. Then the next thing is you want to go on identifiers I think it's .com or .gov, because that's when you're going to learn about how to get an ISBN number, which is that barcode that's on the back of your book. No bookseller or no legit bookstore really is going to want to carry your book without that barcode on the back. So when you think about an ISBN number, the barcode and the ISBN number, so people know it's two different purchases. That's very important for people to understand. So you can do a package deal. And I always tell people, this is what you want to do, and you want to be producing more than one book, always buy like the three barcodes and like multiple ISBN numbers. That way you already have them. That purchase is done and it's out the way. I'm a budgeter, and this is how I just want to help people. Like, because some people get overwhelmed and they be like, well, what do I do? I don't know what to do. Quick outline. Get this ISB number, get your barcode. That's bullet point number 2. Number 3, copyright. You only can go and submit your copyright into the US copyright site unless you have your full JPEG file from beginning to end. So that's where number 1 bullet point come in. That's your book layout person. They're going to lay your book out, put it on that file. When you go into the copyright, you're going to upload your file, but you're going to have to answer all these different questions. It's a little time consuming, but it's worth it. Okay? It's worth it. And anytime I tell anybody, you got any questions, you can start the process, save your work, and then call that 1-800 number. Those people in DC do pick up the phone. Trust me, believe me. Because I called and I was on the phone with one of the guys from the copyright. I was like, we cousins now, like, because we just one thing he said, because I'm a people person, and one thing he said, I didn't have to tell him too much about the book, but I had all my different questions, and he said, and you know what he said to me? He said, oh, I'm waiting to see it on TV. I said, put that claim and you say it from your mouth to God's ears. I said, you go ahead and you put that claim. But that's the essence of when you got something great and you feel great about it and you're passionate about it, but people can feel it when you speak to them. So put it, and then the last thing is put a claim over everything that you want to do with your project, and everything will work out in its rightful timing. That's my ticker for everybody, and that's my jewels to everybody. If you got those 3 points, and then you solidify with that last bullet point of putting your affirmation and your claim over the 3 things ahead, everything is going to work out. Everything is going to work out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to clip that part right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
The master class from the master.
Perfect.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's going to work out. You know, the manuscript is done, so you're going to line up all your stuff. You got your outline for your manuscript, and you got your business outline. How you going to execute this manuscript. And the last outline is going to be where the real work comes in, you know. Absolutely. Marketing and all that afterwards, but yep.
Yes. Well, like I said, y'all, superhero in our community. Seshat Ali, y'all. This is the adventures of Patty B. Everything is fine. We're in divine time. We're on divine time. You know, we are in divine times and on divine time, right? And you know, I just want to say, y'all, get y'all a copy. You know, if for nothing else, just the preservation of this kind of work, you know, this kind of quality work in our community. I mean, this is a beautiful series. I know it's going to be, because I mean, just the beginning has me hooked. I am there for it. You know, I read a lot of children's books, you know, and let me just say, this one is beautifully and intentionally put together. I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm just like, you know, over praising you, but I don't think we can, you know, because when we talked about education this week, we talked about how few people care. And this is showing that somebody cares. And this is where that slither of faith that I have in our community, still being able to do better, be better, produce, but just love better. And this is a work of love. Like, this is a work of love, not just for your mother, but your love for yourself, and understanding that, you know, you've now taken on a role. Like you said, you know, you've taken on a role to be this person for us in the community. And so any way that we can support you here at UnRead, we will definitely support you. I recommend everyone get this book, children or not. Just like Nick said, you know, you can gift it out to others. Sister, please, you know, just know you are always welcome here. And we can't wait for the sneak peek, the exclusive of 2025 books, you know, like you.
Absolutely.
That right there, you know, we'll be the first to have her, Nick. Come on now.
Right,
Let's get
right.
Absolutely.
it. Let's get on it. But Nick, I'm gonna give it to you. I just want to say thank you, beloved sister, and you know, your mother I know is proud.
Yes, yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you so much. Thank you so much. I received that and I reciprocate that.
Thank you. Thank you
And I
very
reciprocate that.
thank,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yes, yes. It's contributing to the education, it's contributing to the
Yeah.
legacy, it's the
Yeah.
healing out loud, like you said, Rue. It's a part of the solutions, like you talk about, and not just having the meeting about the meeting this
Yes.
week for human rights.
Yes. Yes.
This is what the solution looks like. Absolutely.
Yes. This
Yep.
is what the solution looks like. She ain't talk about it. She was about it. She
Mm-hmm.
is
Oh,
about it. You know what I mean? This is what it looked like, y'all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just in case, you're one of those people that's out there asking, what is it? What does it look like? What do we do? This is it right here. If you wanted
right.
to know.
You
Absolutely.
you give it, you create it, you share it,
Hmm.
you be intentional about it, you
Hmm.
affirm it, like just the fact that you sat here and shared the whole publishing process with our audience. And again, unread audience, we told y'all we bring you more than just some chit chat. We bring you some quality, and this sister sat here and shared a simple way to be able to do a very complicated process,
Right.
and not only that, she gave you a formula of how she developed her book to show you that if you're intentional, what kind of quality you can have and how you can already begin to see more. I know a lot of first time authors, myself included, struggle with the process of what's too much to put, how much, what am I putting, and so just the fact that you shared that,
Right.
that in itself is another gem and another beauty. And I pray that people really let you know how much you're really doing, not just for the babies and educating them, but for the parents that read the book, for the people you share with your process. I mean, since you're really doing the work, like this is just beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm at a loss. Thank you. Thank you.
I
Nick,
give thanks.
I'm gonna let you finish this up, Nick, because I'm good. I don't have nothing else to say. Anything else is gonna be me blabbering and probably crying again. So I'm just not gonna do that to myself. But
Yeah.
I'll let you know I appreciate you, and I thank you for helping us round out Human Rights Week. Who knew about that, right?
Right.
And just being our last guest for this year, for
Yep, that's
being
true.
our 1 year anniversary get, like you
That's
all
so
the
true.
things.
All
Just
the
like
things.
this book is all the things, y'all. Y'all saw how I tied it together, right?
Yeah.
Y'all saw that. Get this book, y'all. It's all the things. Seshat Ali, I thank you, my beautiful sister. I'm gonna let Nick take us on up out of here whenever he finished giving up his accolades.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we said everything. Now, the last part or one of the most important parts is the call to action. So we put the information's in the description, but we have visual people and we have auditory people. So, sister, why
Right.
don't you go ahead and say it verbally for the people, how they can get the book, how they can get in contact
Absolutely.
with you if
Absolutely.
up for speaking, to purchase the book, all the things. Yep.
Absolutely. So, on the Instagram page, it's The Adventures of Patty B, exactly the way it's spelled out in the book, at The Adventures of Patty B. The website is exactly what you see, theadventuresofpattyb.com. I try to make it as simple as possible. So you go on the website, all the contact information is there. It's on the IG page. Email is the same, the adventures of Patty B at gmail.com. So you can email me, you can contact me on IG. I do respond. Um, go on to the website, check out the beautiful website. It breaks down all the characters. Just become one with us because we all family, and all the information to be on there as well on how to purchase is a very easy way to navigate. It's not a complicated website. And you'll be able to actually click on shop and purchase the book if you want to purchase the book. I've actually for the month of December, since this is the anniversary month of the book, I'm doing free shipping. So you just don't have to pay for shipping. That's just an incentive for the 1 year anniversary when you go onto the website. And every book, because I always want to my thank you for purchasing the book. Everyone always gets a bookmark. It comes with the book. Sometimes if I have the stickers, I'll throw some stickers in there. You'll get a sticker, you'll get a bookmark, a bookmarker. And sometimes I try to put a couple in there, especially for, avid readers. I try to make sure they don't have to be for this book. It can be for any book. And especially for the babies, I know they have various books. So I want to make sure I include extra bookmarkers and stuff in there for the kids to have for the other books as well. But yes, again, Instagram is the best way and email is the best way. Go onto the website. All the contact information is on every one of those platforms as well. I am available for podcasts, readings. Just contact me and let's build and let's put something together. What I've been trying to do real quick, what I've been trying to do is, and I think is most important, is getting back to going to the libraries on Saturdays. So I did launch the first Saturday read here last month in the Willingboro area because I wanted to kind of get back. I remember being a little kid, and like you said, your mom was marching you all in to the library. Well, we was going to the library, we had the card catalog and, and all that. You know what I mean? You pulled it out and you went through it and, all that. A lot of kids don't know what that is no more because a lot of everything is like digitized now when you go. So it's a little bit different. But I wanted to get back to having programs on some Saturdays. So I'm going to be relaunching that in the spring to venture out to other different public libraries starting in the spring, like one Saturday a month to come in, speak with the parents, read the book. And so that's just something I just want to, it's like my give back, but it's also a way of pushing the reading and literary initiative and to support your public libraries, because if we don't support them, then they're eventually going to close. You got to support your local public libraries. They have a lot of, certain libraries do have a lot of information that will help you, the children and the parents, actually. Entrepreneurial lecture series are information tables they have. And tap into your public libraries because you'll be surprised how many programs they have, and it's free. To get stuff. They have a lot of free stuff. In this day and time, we're living in inflation. So tap into that. Use that money somewhere else. That's what I say. Use that money to produce your book if you self-publish it and tap into your library. But yeah. So yeah, just basically that's how you could contact me. But I just want to say this to Sister Roo and Brother Nick. Keep doing what you're doing, providing a platform for individuals like myself. And the paths always connect. So even connecting with Brother Westbrook back in 2016 and staying in touch, it always works out in a way where we'll be able to link and add on and network and introduce and become privy to things and individuals. And that's always a plus. But I want to thank you both for taking the time to invite me out. I could have picked anybody, but you picked me, and I'm grateful. But I'm always grateful. And I know that was genuinely, it's for you, will be for you. And I want to thank you and commend you both for all that you do outside of this platform as well, because you all do a lot. And I wish you all the best. I wish you both an abundance of peace and blessings as you move forward in all of your initiatives. And blessings to you, and blessings to your new generation that's coming into this grand world. Send me your information so I can send you a couple of books for the new grandbabies. For your grandbabies, okay?
Look, no, let me order some books. I want to inspire to keep that flow going, and I was going to ask, because maybe we speaking this into existence right now. Do you ship internationally? Because some of my grandchildren live abroad.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
yes.
well, you know what? We should really talk. I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
so
excited.
Nick
And
has my
happy anniversary
information.
to you. So it's
Thank
both
you.
of our anniversaries. So look at that, Nick.
Yeah.
Nick,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did you do Supreme Numerics when you were planning this event for us?
I don't think he put that together with the December 18th.
Oh my goodness. I just think about the numbers in the 14th is 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I did not. Nope, that was not you. You gave me the date. You suggested we do December 14th.
Shout out to you.
That was you came up with the date.
Shout out to the ancestors. They be know what they be doing. I just listen. I follow directions. And slow down and wait for the divine time. So
divine time. This is exactly what this was. Divine time.
Divine time. Man, look, I got chilies. I love that. Well, I mean, thank y'all. Nick, did you have anything else?
No.
Thank you for sharing all the information. Y'all heard the information. You know how to get at her. Nick, you know the man is about his business. So all the information is below. Probably a little bit more than you didn't even hear about when we was over here, Google and Gaga over her. But listen, amazing sister Seshat Ali giving us the adventures of Patty B now and in the future, y'all. And I can't even imagine all the places she's gonna go and all the things she's gonna teach us. I am there for that. I am there for it. Y'all, thank you for joining us for a very special episode of UnRead, our 1-year anniversary. Our guest, Seshat Ali, Adventures of Patty B, her 1-year anniversary. We are last guest of 2024, all inspired by Black and Brown folk. Look at this, y'all. We have had an amazing week, and I'm just overjoyed. And you lifted my vibrations so much today. So I am just feeling honored. I'm feeling honored and inspired. And I hope that the audience that is watching today and watching this program after fact feel that same energy, because this has just been amazing. You can't fake energy like this. You can't fake energy like this. So thank you all for joining us for another episode of UnRead with Nick and Roo in our UnRead review. Join us in 2025 when we come back. Oh, we got some things for January. We start out the gate with surprise books. But then we have a surprise guest. So I am so excited. And listen, if you are not subscribed to me and Nick, get in there now so y'all can know what's going on. Hit that, we'll get that little bell popping. We get it popping. And thank you all for just joining us. You could have been anywhere, but y'all here with us, chilling out with the beautiful sister and Adventures of Patty B. This is just Sister Roo until 2025. I thank you. I thank y'all who stood in this with us for about this last year. And look forward to next year. Nick, thank you for being awesome and amazing, and being a fantastic brother. I love my brothers. So thank you so much. And my sisters, I am in awe. So y'all. Till next time, it's your Sister Roo. Peace.
Peace.